Hope you guys really enjoying yourselves. It was a couple months ago, I think it was, when I had my first visit here, and it was an amazing experience because I feel like, especially as a young person, um, as a modern day world, there's so much social media out there, and there's so many things that I feel like my generation they're not as strong in their faith, and I say that because there's so many things distracting them because of what's in front of them, because what they can touch with their hands, what they can touch or smell or taste or see that distracts them for what is truth. And at the same time, I'm very faith based, and I'm in my household, my wife, we understand that without God, the love between us would never exist. We would never truly know what it means to love each other if we don't first understand the originator of love and what true sacrifice really is. If I can't love her the way Jesus first loved the church, then how can I ever understand what love really means? And going into that, we have so many things in common. Obviously, if I speak science into my profession, I would be looked at awkwardly. And a lot of times, if you guys speak science into your sermons, if you also will be looked in awkwardly. If I do something wrong, it might end up in the front page of a newspaper of the Union Tribune. If you do something wrong, it might end up in a newsletter or an email. And we both work on Sundays, and so we both are trying to win over souls. Jesus and God is obviously football fans, unless he wouldn't allow us to work miracles on Sundays. So, in that essence of everything, it is exciting to be here in front of you. I never would have thought that I would be standing. Actually, a week ago, I was in front of the San Diego Chargers, delivering a motivational speech because Coach McCoy allows one player each week, Saturday before a game, to speak to address the team. It's been about overcoming or been the underdog. It's been about keeping things in perspective. It's been about being self motivated. It's been about finding an opportunity to make your play. So basically, being ready when your time comes. It's been about being competitive, and it's been about leadership. And I can go on and go on. Or some of us look at it as dominating your opponent on every play. So, but there's so many things that we talk about as motivational speakers or inspirers that people might look at as, oh, this is what it takes to be a leader, or this is what it takes to motivate people. But all those things are in line with what God says. Secularly, they talk about what does it take to be a leader. You have to be accountable. You have to be competent. You have to put others before you. So you have to be selfless. So you have to be encouraging. You have to be all these things that describe exactly what a witness for God is. God asks us to be competent. He asks us to be accountable for our actions. He asks us to be selfless. He asks us to be able to inspire others. And he also asks us to stand out, stand firm for what we believe in. For if we don't, we'll fall for anything. And at the same time, the world tells us that this is your faith and this is what science proves. But here at this museum, they give us opportunity to put the two together and have evidence that actually science proves what God says is true. Why wouldn't we expose our kids or our congregation to this museum? If anything, you can expire into it because it's free. I mean, most people don't turn down free entertainment. No, I'm just kidding. But honestly speaking, though, I can't imagine having something like this at a young age as a kid and experiencing it and not holding true to what I believe in. I feel like after seeing this, I'm like, man, I must have strong faith to have lived 26 years without seeing that science actually proves the Bible is true. But at the same time, it's one of those things that I'm not here just to talk to you guys about the museum. Actually, I'm just excited because I had a speech written out and I had something written down that I wanted to share. But at the same time, it's been so much education up here that my brain pushed out everything I had in before, and it kind of just infused everything I just learned. And as humans, we're sponges. When we're kids, we're sloppy. Our sponges, or they just work as sponges on their own, and they just soak up everything on the table. But as we get older, we can control what our sponge takes in. But we're all sponges. You're going to take in everything. I mean, Western civilization, I was in college, I learned something from one of my favorite philosophers. I don't refute everything he says, but Seneca said that as human beings, we leave our houses every day to never return the same. Every day you leave your home, you will make progress or you'll regress. You'll go backwards or you'll digress. What do you want to call it? I'm not a great at grammar. So, um, in saying that, he's saying that no matter what you do in your life, when you leave your home, you never return the same. But at the same time, he's saying either you become better or you become worse. There's no such thing as staying the same. Because if you trick yourselves in believing that, oh, I'm just going to maintain, I'm going to stay the same today, while the world is still progressing, you're getting left behind. Therefore, you're not staying the same. You're falling back. So in life, I feel like God tells us that education and wisdom is everything. Holding the truth to your heart is everything. The first sin was created because of the urge for wisdom, for knowledge, trying to take a shortcut. But here, God also tells us not to limit Him, first of all, and not to think we ever know everything, because we will never will. For there are things that entertain our eyes. There are things that entertain our ears and our hearts because the world says if we can't see it, feel it, touch it, taste it, smell it, there's no way it could be true. But God says the opposite. For the things we chase after are the things that are unseen to the world. And the things that we really need are things that are uncommon amongst the world. For the rewards that we get will not come to us while we are present here on this world. And as a football player, it's obviously it's you can imagine the not the scrutiny really, because a player just like yourselves, we're looked upon as role models immediately, and we don't sin. Oh no, we don't sin. You guys don't sin. You guys are perfect. You guys are perfect. We're perfect. Come on now. Anytime we sin, it's blasphemy. Come on now. We're human, just like anybody else is. We struggle, just like anybody else is. And God forbid a single player, because he's probably assumed a lot of different things already. God forbid a single pastor. I mean, what I'm saying is, in life, a leader is called to be a leader, no matter what arena, no matter what stadium. I have a sanctuary. It's green. It's has white lines. I have a pulpit. It's a press conference. A lot like your sanctuary, but at the same time, at the end of the day, football is my stage. It is my sanctuary because that's what God gave me to gain the audience attention. That's what God gave me to create a platform to stand upon and scream as loud as I can His name. And at the same time, when I find myself weakened, broken, sore, aching from the things of this world, God told me I have not been broken or destroyed or just beaten down or destroyed in vain, for He was always with me. 2 Corinthians 4 and 8 through 12 talks about I'm not in despair, I'm not broken, I'm not beaten, I'm not abandoned, but Jesus lives inside of me so I can may live out who He truly is amongst this world. And at the same time, He talks to me about that in Hebrews 12:1-2. Is that we are surrounded by a crowd of witnesses. For let us throw down everything that entangles us, everything that hinders us from running the race that has been set before us with perseverance after Jesus, who is the author and perfecter of our faith. For me in my life, for me to stand up here and just be a football player, for me to stand up here and just be an entertainer, which we all are, because if you're not entertaining to your congregation, more than likely it will diminish. And if I'm not winning, more than likely my congregation will diminish. So, in the end, God is a competitor. He likes winners. So, it's an honor to be standing here in front of you, and it's one of those things I've never imagined that I would get rid of my sin enough to stand in front of pastors. So, I'm glad that I got rid of it before I came. Um, my truck is real dirty. I had to drive through a lot of sin to get here. So, but It's amazing to be in the position that I'm in today, which is the position that God would have me be, because I'm trying to run this course with perseverance. I think it was Paul that speaks of, I have yet to reach my goal. I have yet to obtain it, but yet I still press on. And to think of life and to not think about a purpose, a purpose. What good is a man without a plan who walks aimlessly amongst the earth? Without a purpose. What good am I to live this life without a purpose? Genesis is not true. And what purpose are we living for? If we came out of nothing, what purpose are we living for? Because nothing equals nothing. So if you come from nothing, then your purpose is nothing. I live for something. I stand for something because I will not fall for anything. And if I know where my origin is, then I pray and hope my origin knows where I will come and where I will be in the end of the day, because I want to be ready. I'm going to keep pressing on. And I want to open it up to any question that you guys may have. I mean, I'm going to keep it short. I don't keep it too long. But in the end, I'm going to open up for questions. If you have any questions for me, hopefully they're not scientific, because every time the panel responded to a question, there's at least 20 words in there I had to look up. Um, I graduated. I graduated like 4 times already. It was kindergarten promotion, eighth grade promotion, high school, 2 degrees in college. So I felt like I was a smart man until I stood in a room full of smart men. So God has a way of humbling us at all times, right? Yes, sir. After football. I would love to stay involved. I have a heart for the youth. I would love to stay involved with the youth. I do a lot with the Fellowship of Christian Athletes here in San Diego. Um, I I have a website. It's actually on my card. It's going to be under construction here. It's called Living for One, which is basically just a small business for me to put a stamp on, so people can get a hold of me to speak. It's not a nonprofit. I don't believe that I need my own nonprofit, because God made churches. So and then at the same time, it's no reason to divide what God has. And if I can just step in and help somebody, another nonprofit that needs extra help, instead of creating my own just for a good cause. But oh man, I would love to. I majored in communication studies, because where I come from in Kansas City, which is my story, my testimony. Actually, I need to get into this part so you guys know a little bit. That's part of my original speech before education came on. I was born and raised in Kansas City, Kansas. It's mainly a single parent home. My parents got divorced when I was 4. I need to stop saying. I graduated for this stuff. Uh, I start saying that more when it's a testimony, because I'm pretty passionate about. I just said it again. In life, being raised in the conditions that I was in, they weren't horrible. They weren't, by all means, they weren't horrible. My mother did a phenomenal job raising 3 kids by herself. To be married again to a retired Marine, life goes in circles. Life goes in circles. Who was stationed actually in San Diego, who was from Kansas City. They got married. Life was great. Life was going well until he made a bad decision. Our decisions have consequences, not just to us, but to the people around us. He made it. We adopted 3 of my nieces or his nieces and nephews, my cousins, because they were my stepdads, and he made a decision to sexually assault the young girl. So he goes to jail going into my senior year, and I become the man in the house. I'm the middle kid. My older brother's another story. He's another story. At the time, he was leaving already to move on with his life, because he was 18, 19. He already graduated from high school, so he was leaving. I became the man in the house, also preparing to go to college. But this all happened. The world came crashing down 2 weeks after I was offered a scholarship from the University of Kansas. At the same time, I'm from an inner city school where I was the first one to go to a Division I school to play football and be given a full ride at the entire league. This is 6 teams, 6 schools, 5A schools. They're not small; they're big schools. So it was an amazing feeling. I felt invincible because my parents already promised me that if I got a full ride, that they'll give me a new car. So you can imagine the 17-year-old boy's mind about to go to college on a full ride with the brand new car. I was on cloud nine. My life was solved. It didn't matter how I was going to get to the end of my life because my life right then was perfect. And then 2 weeks later, everything changes. And the divorce is happening. He's going to jail. And it was ugly. It was really ugly. So I learned real fast what life really had, which was liabilities and assets. Every decision we make is a liability or an asset. Never leave the same. Always come back different, whether it's better or worse. And in doing that, my faith was strained. It was stretched. It was tested. It was proven over and over again. And I had three views, three things that I call my core. I say in life, just like the Old Testament, everything has to have a solid foundation. The Old Testament is like the foundation of the Bible. It's a solid, what's what the whole Bible stands on. People today says, oh, disregard the Old Testament, just focus on the New. No, that's the foundation of the Bible. So everything derives from. So my foundation, my core is faith, focus, and forgiveness. And with those three things, my life was made so much better when I learned to understand those three things. And when I was 18 years old, that's when I found those three things being the most important things in my life. And when I say focus, it's the focus that Job had on God, being blameless. The devil saying, does he fear you for nothing? Did you not put a hedge of protection around him? What man would not be faithful to that one who protects him? Take away your hedge, he'll curse you, he'll leave you. Touch him, do whatever you want. Do as you will, spare his life. Comes back, says, what man won't give all that he owns to save his own life? He goes, well, push him to the brink as far as you want, but just don't kill him. Push him to the brink. His wife tells him, just curse God and die. The one that influences you the most, the one that comforts you, the one that can, at one strike, can make you the happiest man or the angriest man ever. The one who holds all on this earth. There's a reason why God said, fear no man. He didn't say anything about the woman. Not, but but to think that God tested Job or allowed the devil to test Job. People ask, well, why do bad things happen? I'll say, because God gives us the power of choice. What good is it to learn, to take a test, or to learn, to educate yourself and never take a test and to never be tested? School will be worthless. What good is it for me to practice every day to never play a game on Sunday? What good is it to write a sermon and never give it? Therefore, what good is our faith if we're never going to be tested or never going to show it, if God never truly knows how we really feel? So God allows us, by our choices, to let the devil step in sometimes and try to waver and put boundaries in front of us. But Job stayed focused on God. Yeah, he asked questions, he raised questions, but he stayed focused. And for that, God was with him and rewarded him.